People are freaking out after the latest episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, episode 220, because they can't believe what the heck they think Naruto was about to do. And we're gonna dive into that, but it's kind of crazy to think, like I just said, 220. Boruto has officially reached the amount of episodes original Naruto ended with. The original Naruto series ran for 220 episodes. Boruto now is 220 episodes and still counting, still going. We just got a whole brand new arc just announced starting next week, and it's mind-blowing to think, just to say the least, because it's like, yo, we've really been going for 220 episodes. We're about to surpass OG Naruto and continue. Like, whoa, this is crazy. But yeah, people, we got a lot to talk about with Boruto, what Naruto was up to, a lot of the painful conversations. I feel like this episode, after all the painful madness that Naruto just went through, the major loss of Kurama the nine-tailed fox, like, yet again Naruto is faced with a lot of tough decisions, and it was kind of sad at certain points, a lot of points actually, during this episode, to see Naruto have to speak about some of the most worst things you could possibly speak when it comes to a father and his children. Without further ado, let's talk about it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay, people, so I still find it hilarious, if you didn't see my video talking about the manga, of Naruto having a Zoom meeting with the other Kage from the other villages. I ain't gonna lie, I'll never get over it. Like, I know it's happened before. I think it happened in, like, Naruto the Last, and it's happened a few different times throughout the series, but it would have been much more effective, in my opinion. I would have appreciated more to see them in actual person, you know, even if we gotta do, you know what I'm saying, 6 feet, whatever you want to do, ultimately, it would have been nice to see them in person. But one of the biggest things that came out of all that, aside from the fact that not only during this meeting but throughout the entire episode, Naruto referenced multiple times, which he didn't in the manga, the fact that he lost Kurama and things are different now because of that. And again, that's something to be said, because the manga kind of just skates over it. Like, it probably was mentioned maybe once or twice after the events, but for the most part, it kind of doesn't really acknowledge the fact that one of the biggest key players from the very beginning of Naruto has been, you know, exiled, so to speak, you know, removed from the manga with the death of Kurama the nine-tailed fox. So it was really nice and a good addition in general to the Boruto anime, the fact that Naruto kept on mentioning it. Like, yeah, it did happen, people. But the biggest takeaway from this Zoom meeting was something to do with Gaara, which it was kind of fascinating, in my opinion, to see Gaara even bring something like this up, where he mentions to Naruto, like, yo, fam, if the time comes, are you going to be able to take out your son? Because Boruto's Momoshiki possession is continuing, and after what just happened over there with, you know, Naruto and Sasuke, how essentially Momoshiki took out Sasuke's eye and everything that went down, he's a major threat. And, you know, Gaara asking Naruto that was rich to me, considering, like, yo, he went through some great lengths himself to stop certain aspects of, like, you know, when he faced up against Sasuke and all that jazz, way back in the 5 Kage Summit and all that. And to see Gaara propose that, bring that up to Naruto, is like, it's tough. I mean, granted, that's one of the things you have to do when you're in those positions, because you got to remember, Gaara's also a father, you know, a stepfather, I guess you could say, right? You know, a foster father, or adoptive father to Shinki, but also he's a Kage, so he looks at it from two different angles, and Naruto needs to do the same. And Naruto's reaction throughout this episode, I completely understand. Like, Naruto was really struggling with that type of conversation. Like, I mean, I'll do it if I have to do it, but ultimately, hopefully, it doesn't come to that. And that's something that, I ain't gonna lie, I felt Naruto throughout this episode. Like, who wants to do any type of harm to their child, let alone what they're asking him to do? Like, yo, if you gotta kill your son, you gotta be able to do it, fam. You gotta protect the village, you gotta protect the shinobi world, because that Momoshiki guy is no joke. If he was able to do this type of damage to Ya this time, what would happen if he returns fully? And add to the fact that, yeah, they're gonna be a lot weaker if it was to come to Momoshiki returning, because Sasuke's missing an eye and Naruto no longer has Kurama. So that was an interesting Zoom meeting, to say the least. And it also put like a timer at the very least for the moments, because later in the episode we find out something different, but it puts a timer on the fact that Boruto has essentially, I think they said, what was it, 6 months or half a year or something like that, before the petrification, before the possession of Momoshiki completely takes over and he becomes Momoshiki. So it kind of put a little bit of a timer on his back, and you could imagine not only what Naruto's dealing with, what I'm imagining Boruto as a kid is dealing with. I guess that's something that it would have been nice to have added a little more focus on, because while, yes, don't get me wrong, I'm on the team of, yeah, the more Naruto, I'm fine with it. I don't care as Boruto, Naruto Next Generations. This is something where it would have been nice to get a little bit more focus in on Boruto's feelings of, hey, yo, I might become a monster soon and lose my whole life, and my father or my sensei might actually have to kill me because of it, or I might hurt people that I love because of it. But I guess they kind of added somewhat of that, like considering, you know, that big scene that he had with Naruto, but still, few more Boruto scenes would have been nice, I guess. During this episode, it was also added that Amado, with his pet project known as Kawaki, got Kawaki a new arm using his cell, so he no longer needs Naruto. It almost felt in a way, maybe I'm looking a little bit left on it, that Amado was like, nah, fam, like you don't need nothing from the Hokage. You don't need nothing from nobody in this village. I got you. Don't worry. You'll be self-sufficient in no time. And got him a new arm, so now he no longer needs that prosthetic. But I guess also considering now Naruto probably doesn't have that endless pool of chakra because he doesn't have Kurama inside of him no more, it would have been very hard to continue lighting up with chakra that arm as he's doing his duties as Hokage, as a father, as everything else, which is also going to be interesting to see how Naruto navigates moving forward now that he doesn't have Kurama. You know, just kind of that sparked my mind right now of like, well, like, he's not going to be able to have thousands of, you know, clones all over the village taking care of different tasks and things like that. Like, Naruto now really is going to have a different life. And again, that was something that I appreciated that they added, of Naruto referencing that multiple times throughout the episode. Like, things are going to be different now. I'm not going to be able to do certain things because, again, Kurama's death leaves a big hole in Naruto, not only mentally and emotionally, but also physically, of the demanding task that he has been, you know, put to with being Hokage. And then getting that Naruto and Sasuke moment with them also tackling the whole idea of what's going on with Boruto, and Sasuke admitting like, yo, I did say that I would kill Boruto if the time came because of this whole Momoshiki thing, but even I hesitated. And that kind of shows a little bit of a softer side of Sasuke that over the years has developed. Like, you know, end of Shippuden, Sasuke was a different story. Like, I mean, for crying out loud, he tried to kill Naruto right there to, you know, do whatever his quest was at the time or whatnot, create a revolution and stuff like that. So over the years, especially having a daughter with Sarada and the bonding moments that in particular the Boruto anime has showcased Sasuke trying to attempt with his daughter, it shows a different side of him that it was tough even for him with his student to be able to put him down, because Momoshiki was right there. You know, he possessed Boruto, and I feel like a part of it was him fronting a little bit like, yo, you tried a little bit, you tried to hit him with a Materasu and stuff. Like, was you really, like, was it you holding back, or was it the fact that yeah, you couldn't get the job done, fam? You was weakened. I mean, for crying out loud, you got hit in the goddamn Renegon. Let's not go into rant mode, people. Let's not do it. And during that conversation between the two of them, Naruto yet again saying, hey, you know, I'm Hokage, but I'm also a dad, so it's a tough situation. And him back and forth with Sasuke. It was, again, a very tough moment for Naruto and Sasuke at that. And it was just kind of emotional, like this whole episode was. Because you got both of them dealing with the fact that they both care about Boruto. They both have this choice of, like, or this decision that they're ultimately going to have to make of, God damn, I got to kill somebody I love, potentially. And also going back to Kawaki with him returning the prosthetic arm, because now he has a real one made from Amado, you know, the cells and whatnot. One of the things that was noted from Naruto, which kind of makes me wonder what Kawaki's involvement, if any, is going to be in the upcoming arc. Naruto offers him like, hey, do you want to be a Genin now? Because again, they still have that bond, although Kawaki felt very cold in this episode, like colder than normal. He was like, yo, here's the arm. Oh, we're getting, I'll sleep on it. I don't know what to say, fam. Like, alright, later. Like, I was like, okay, Kawaki, damn. Even Shikamaru was like pleasant as ever. You can tell Shikamaru, if he had 5 minutes with Kawaki, he would throw hands. I'm calling it. Shikamaru would throw hands with Kawaki. Just give him 5 minutes in the bathroom. He'll show him. But then the most powerful scene of the episode, very emotional, you know, coming from where Boruto, the series as a whole, came from, and what some of the complaints we had in the beginning of, like, Boruto came off as a spoiled brat, like, yo, your father's trying his hardest, he's trying to live his dreams, be a father, be Hokage and all that jazz, and, you know, everything that they went through to get to this point right now. It's a long journey, a long process, because Naruto sits there in a very beautiful sunset speaking to Boruto about what's happening to him, and you can tell that they're both scared. Like, this is the moment where we finally get to see a little more insight in how Boruto feels about this whole thing that's happening to him, and you can see, you know, he even says, I'm scared. This right here, I ain't gonna lie, where they have that hugging moment, and, you know, the music was just so freaking emotional. I love that OST. I remember they played that OST very nice nicely. And like it was the flashback arc, I think, where Boruto and Sasuke went back in time, and there was like a scene between little Naruto and Boruto. Like that OST right there, oh, so good. And when they're hugging and Naruto says, yo, I don't care, no matter what I gotta do, even if I gotta give my life up to save you, I will. And this is the moment right here where the fandom, I've been seeing this all freaking morning, is freaking out right now because they think where Naruto lifted his hand and he was hyperventilating, that they thought he was about to Rasengan Boruto to another plane of existence. And I was like, like I rewatched that scene a couple different times, and I ain't gonna lie, the first time I saw it, what I gathered from it was me thinking of maybe they're foreshadowing stuff later to come. Like I had a whole left field different idea of what was going on with Naruto there. Like not only, yeah, he's in the moment, but I was wondering like, well, could it be that the effects of an illness that is hinted in the novels that might get adapted at some given point is slowly starting to be foreshadowed here? Like, that was my first watch through of that scene. Then upon going back, I was like, oh, he's just, you know, he's going through it. Like, remember when he hyperventilated and fainted in the snow over Sasuke, like a friend that he really cared about? How you think he's going to react about the thought of, I might have to kill my son someday if shit goes left? Like, yeah, he's going to hyperventilate and get really sad and shaky and all that jazz, especially when he's having this moment where his son is basically crying out to him like, Dad, I don't want to die. Like, yeah, you're gonna act that way. Like, I don't think Naruto is prepping a Rasengan like, oh, let me just get rid of this motherfucker right now, like, you spoiled brat. Like, no, I don't think that that's what was going down. I get it that it's even funny to think about, like, yo, is Naruto really about to do this to Mans? But if Naruto couldn't kill his friend Sasuke, I don't think he's gonna easily just say, I bet, let me just take this little shit out right now. Like, no, I don't think that's what was gonna happen. Like, maybe I'm wrong on that, and if I'm wrong, that's very, very dark for Naruto to go over a route of, like, yo, was he really about to kill his own son right there? Like, I don't think so. You tell me, what do you think? But still, yet again, even though the art wasn't the greatest per se, like, Naruto's character model looked slightly off in that scene, I still really love that scene. I thought it was a very emotional moment. I liked seeing that, considering, like, everything Boruto related has been built up to that Ishiki arc, you know, going from the very beginnings of their relationship to where it's at now, everything that they went through to where it's at now. So to see them have that bonding moment, hugging of a life or death situation, it was very heartfelt and emotional, and again, tough on everybody around. Everybody that knows Boruto or cares about Boruto is going through it. You can imagine Hinata is probably going through it. It would have been nice if they would have added that in the episode as well. I'm just saying, like, that's his mom. But Amado comes to save the day, which I liked the way they rearranged things. Like, I feel like this was slightly different than what they did in the manga, of how it came about, of Amado saying, ah, yes, I've got magic pills, like, we about to get blazed, like, no. Because Amado shows up and says, yo, fear not, I got some solution for the time being of what to do when it comes to your son, because he has these pills, these magic beans, basically these pills that he had created, and he was actually on the sly giving to Kawaki back then, that Jigen didn't even know about at the time, to essentially suppress the karma from continuing to spread. And, you know, it kind of attacks essentially the Byakugan aspects of their DNA, and seemingly this would be able to put a halt to Boruto's possession and Momoshiki completely taking over for now. Essentially, he came up with a medicine to stop the spread, but he also doesn't know the after effects of it. There could be so many different things that could go wrong, but ultimately, at the very least, we know for a fact that it actually stops it for the time being, because Boruto had multiple tests after that, and seemingly he is okay. It stopped spreading, which I was kind of wondering how this was going to work, considering we knew that the new Chunnin exams was announced for, you know, anime original stuff, and I was like, are they going to allow Boruto to participate in the new Chunnin exams, considering what he's undergoing right now? Like, imagine he's in the middle of the Chunnin exams and just boom, Momoshiki takes over. He could kill everybody in there. But at the very least, it halted that for the time being, and ultimately, yeah, we're about to embark on the new Chunnin exams. It is announced in this episode from Naruto that, yo, it was interrupted before because of everything that happened with Momoshiki, and wow, that was so long ago now at this point. Like, holy cow, that was what, 180 episodes, 160 episodes back then that this whole Chunnin exam happened. But yeah, we're going to be doing a new Chunnin exams, which again, I'm imagining Kawaki is not going to be able to participate. And the only reason I say that is Naruto just asked him, hey, do you want to be a Genin? Like, how can he become a Genin and then already go to the Chunnin exams without even having one official mission. So I think potentially Kawaki's going to sit this one out. I don't think Boruto's going to have to, like he had that conversation with Mitsuki and Sarada, and Mitsuki and Sarada was like, oh, thankfully now we probably not going to have to have our missions on pause. We can actually go on missions again. So I think for the time being, considering again we're about to be going into anime original for a long time, I think that Boruto is going to be safe to participate in the Chunin exams and whatever other missions are going to happen. And yeah, people, we're going to be in anime original stuff for the foreseeable future, because where we're at right now, we're about like 6 chapters away from where the manga's at. That is very extremely close. If you follow some of my Forever News episodes, I talked about how it was recently stated that they might actually adapt some novels or some anime original stuff for the time being, but expect for quite some time at the very least that we're probably not going to be in manga territory. We're probably going to continue on with this new Chunin exams and whatever. And I know that's going to be very off-putting to a lot of people, but I ain't gonna lie, 2021 for Boruto has been very exciting, very, very dope. I can't even believe how much of the manga they actually covered this year. It's kind of crazy to think. This episode, very emotional. Crazy to think that it got to a point where a lot of Naruto fans and Boruto fans are freaking out. Like, was Naruto about to kill Boruto? I guess that's going to be the big question I'm going to ask you guys. Was it that Naruto was about to kill Boruto there? Or was he just hyperventilating and shaking at the thought of, I might have to kill this kid that I really love. This is my son, damn it. And I guess your thoughts in general about the episode. And how have you felt? Because right now I feel like this is a good pinpoint to where everything Boruto has led to, considering again we're about to be going into anime original for a while now. How have you felt about Boruto in 2021? Everything that we went through, favorite moments between, you know, the Baryon mode, everything that just happened in general with Kara, the battle against Kara. Has Boruto lived up to the expectations of what the fandom has been screaming for a long time? And your overall thoughts and expectations for the anime moving forward? Again, we are going into a new Chunin exam, so that might be exciting. I don't know if I'm going to be covering it per se. We'll see how it goes, but it's been one hell of a ride with Boruto at the very least. Everything they've adapted from the manga, and no, I don't think Naruto's gonna kill Boruto right there. That's all I have for this one though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and wow, what a ride Boruto 2021 has been. What an emotional episode this one alone was. And until we get to that manga content again, let's see what these new Chunin exams have in store for us. Have an awesome one.
You are me.